And would you guys be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this album?
Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Let's start.
Yeah, I think honestly, like to that question kind of makes me want to talk about the fact that one of my favorite things is to like see people's favorite songs and often have a favorite song that's like a deep cut or feels like one that's not a single or
Hmm.
like is the one that a team would have cut if we were like signed to people with a ton of opinions and they didn't think a certain song was like of a certain level.
Mhm.
And it's the most gratifying thing being able to like exist in our community in places where like someone might absolutely love like the slow ballad that's only done like what 250,000 streams versus this single that's done 10. And it's like that moment is very inspiring for Luke and I because it's like, okay, like being able to be an album band, being able to release 25 songs a year and like guarantee that to our fan base, I think is very exciting for them. But it also just gives us complete creative leeway to be like, damn, well, we can just make music and just keep going. So I
Yeah.
think the headspace is like very free. Like we're not limited by almost anything. And I think we kind of like genre blind now as well.
That's
So
fun.
that's one too, is like we can just reach for any instrument and try and make it a Voila song.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Cool.
cool, man.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
I Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I haven't really thought about it. I think that for me, the last few years have just been like tougher. And I kind of sometimes feel like my life is like playing chess, and then but like I don't know how any of the pieces move. And then like
Mm.
what's further than that is I realize like I am one of the pieces. And every time I like try to do one thing, it's like, no, 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 you don't do that. Like you're not supposed to do it that way.
Yeah.
And if you do that. And I think writing an album, writing music is like kind of like the knight learning that he goes up to and over one. It just
Mhm.
makes sense. And I think writing music for whatever reason is just the only thing that makes sense. It just feels like that's what I'm supposed to do. And I think writing this album really just highlighted that for me, where it was like, this is the only thing that really comes natural to me. It feels right and does make me not just happy, but like content.
Yeah.
Uh, it's neat. It's just right. And yeah, so that's why we did a ton of songs. It just kind of comes out that
Mhm.
way. So I think the headspace was just kind of letting the dog bark, so to speak, just doing what's natural.
Yeah.
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 And
Damn
and
right.
Gus,
Yeah.
I know you mentioned like you guys kind of are excited that you figured out this way that you can put out like 25 songs a year and have that creative outlet and like be genre blind in a way. But are you guys struggling at all like with the creative burnout of putting together 25 songs self-produced every year?
No, because I mean, the thing is like people ask sometimes, like, hey, what do you do in your downtime?
Yeah.
And like, I think people don't realize that when you are so obsessively in love with something and you get to call that work, like the thought of being able to release 25 songs a year just like gets me inspired. But the interesting point you make there is like the concept of that question you asked about, was there a song that took time
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
like finish?
Yeah.
And that's where I think the stress and the creative burnout comes from. But
Mhm.
like if you fundamentally within your business model are allowed to just shelf a song because you guys can't finish it and start something new, and that can then fill the void of that, I
Mhm.
think you kind of get rid of the concept of like creative burnout because you can constantly try new stuff. And if you're
Mhm.
genre blind, like we're talking about, like you can release a dance tune. You can release like a
Yeah.
slow piano ballad because it feels good to you one week. And
Mhm.
obviously, we do still have moments when we're like, damn, I can't find the right melody, I can't find the right lyric.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that constantly on the horizon is an ability to drop a song whenever you want and
Mhm.
it to sound however you want and to know that you have a community of people that will probably like it.
Mhm.
Uh, like no matter what structural format it fits, that is so inspiring for us. I think that like we tend not to get too burnt out.
Mm-mm. You also have to like what's really interesting about Gus and I, we've been doing, making music together for 10 years. Gus is my closest friend, but
Mhm.
that's how we hang out. Like Gus and I like don't watch TV or play video games or like go to
Yeah.
the pub. Like we make music. And so it's kind of like we're never gonna get burnt out because that's how our friendship is. That's what we love to do. We when there's obviously a lot that goes into, especially because we're independent. There's a lot of business that happens, with Voila. But the days that we can just go into the studio, put the phone down, and just write, like that's kind of like going skateboarding with a friend. It's like this is what we do for fun, and I could never imagine getting burnt out doing that. It's just simply too fun.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.